Well, today we are also celebrating Juneteenth to commemorate the end of slavery in the U.S. And joining us live is Dr. Bequita Pegram with Prairie View A&M University to talk more about the history of this holiday. Thank you so much for joining us this morning, bright and early. And ma'am, for those who may not be aware, talk to us about Juneteenth and the holiday and how this started.
Well, first, thank you for having me, and I love your dress. We're matching.
Thank you. Yellow is the theme for today.
I think the perfect place to start with the history of Juneteenth is when Lincoln freed the slaves in 1863. It did not have the power behind it and the strength behind it to actually set enslaved people free. So on Juneteenth, June 19, 1865, in Galveston Bay, Union troops came to free the 250,000 slaves that were there. And that was done by executive order.
And here in Texas, here in Houston, we see the history, we see the celebrations. How have those celebrations really evolved over the years?
Well, first celebrations were more about prayer meetings, the thanking of God for their freedom. There were a lot of religious and spiritual gatherings, and then it evolved into singing, celebrations. Some of the celebrations started to resemble family reunions because those enslaved people that chose to move on would come back to see family members and friends. And then today we see parades. Well, not today because of the rain, but normally we would see parades and cookouts and festivals. Even on the federal level now you see concerts like we've seen in the last couple of years. But sometimes people use this day also as a day of reflection to remember what those people went through to get their freedom.
And you look at, you were mentioning the evolution of the how people observe this day, something very historic here in Texas. But let's talk about, and you mentioned this, how this became a federal holiday.
So for years, you had several different activists try to get it to become a federal holiday. One of my favorite people, Opal Lee from Fort Worth, Texas, she did an amazing job of being active. She was a school teacher, and when she retired from being a school teacher, she gave all her effort into getting this made a major federal holiday. So one of the things that she did is at 89 years old, you have to really picture this, at 89 years old, she challenged America, and she challenged people to support her as she walked from Fort Worth, Texas, to Washington, D.C.
Wow.
She walked 2.5 miles a day. Now, I don't know about y'all, but 89 walking from Texas to Washington, D.C.
impressive.
is no small challenge, no small accomplishment. And she did. She accomplished this. And a year or two later, no, more than that, because that was in 2016. So, and then in June 2021, Biden signed it into law after the Senate vote passed it from 415 to a 14 vote. I personally wish that it had been a 100% vote, but we got the vote passed, and Joe Biden signed it into law June 2021. So that's why many people are off today and able to stay at home and reflect on the accomplishments of enslaved people building America.
And thank you for the background there on how we got to a federal holiday. And Dr. Pegram, as you look at this all across the country, why is it so very important for people to reflect on Juneteenth?
It's a day of remembrance for sure, but it's history. It's not just Black history. It's not just Texas history. It's American history. We all have benefited in a way from these people who suffered in pain. And so it's not just a holiday. It's not just a day off. It's not just a day that we say, oh, let's go celebrate for no reason. But we're celebrating this day to show appreciation to the enslaved people who endured so much pain, many injustices to build America that we enjoy today. And so we owe it to them to honor them, to preserve the history, to restore the history, and reflect on the importance of it to Americans.
So beautifully said. Dr. Bequita Pegram, thank you so much for your time today, for chatting with us. I so appreciate it.
Thank you so much. You all have a great day.
You too as well. Thank you so much. Well,